This is just an opinion from what I noticed today working with a client. So, this is my take on narcissism. Everyone has an opinion about it, and I've dealt with so many narcissists in my life that, of course, I was part of the grand group to look up, you know, traits and, responses or whatever. But simplified, I realize spotting a narcissist, or as the kids say these days, a louche farmer, is very easy. So let me tell you my story and then I'll continue on about how to spot one and what you can do about it. I had a client. I delivered what he asked for as far as audio work, and he said it was fine. I got my money. There was no complaints. And then literally the next day, which is today, he returned saying it's not good enough. It's not good enough. And I was just like, well, you already graded me on the system that we agreed on. You've already paid me with a tip. So what's not good enough? And he stated, well, you need to do this and you need to do this and let's negotiate and let's go ahead and give and do this instead. And I said, okay, well, what exactly do you want me to do? Because I can just redo the script and I'll give you a discount and we'll call it a day. I was, oh, no. I want to rewrite the whole thing and then have you pay. I want to pay the price for the revision, but a new script. And I completely was calm and I was just like, sir, now that's not how I work. You're not even telling me a word count for this and whatever. So here's what has to be done is that you're going to have to pay me per word count. I'm not going to trust you to just write something and then have me perform it for half of what you're going to pay me. And he got very upset. He got super, super upset. And, I wasn't called anything under the sun, everything under the sun, but he was upset enough and he rambled and he ranted and he did whatever. And I was calm. And so I just asked a simple question. How would you like to solve the problem? And instead of coming up with a solution, he just started rambling again and ranting again and actually getting more upset and elevated because I just asked how he can solve this issue. And then I said, well, I'm going to solve this issue for you. Please don't contact me again. And I blocked him. Now, I have been the child of a narcissist. I had friends who were narcissists. They don't think so. I had a spouse that was a narcissist. He probably doesn't think so either. Former spouse. But I realized they all had two traits in common. And these are the traits I want to share with you. Is that first, they start drama for no reason. Just for no reason. And this could be an argument. Literally, you could, for instance, forget to wash a dish. They come home and all of a sudden the world is burning down, right? You could not even make a mistake. You could literally just be sitting there minding your own business and then they'll make something up from the past that happened years ago and expect you to engage. And here's a second thing that I've noticed is that they never want to solve the problem, right? They want to start the drama. They want to start, the escalation, but they never want to solve the problem. And so it doesn't benefit them to solve the problem, right? You'll sit there and you listen to them rant and rave and you'll say, okay, so what do you want me to do about it? There's never an answer. Either that they want you to prostrate to them and basically join in the drama field with them, the drama party, the ambulance drive, or they'll get even angrier because you're calm, right? And I notice this with every single person in my life that has ever did these two things. Is always the same thing. And it was a mistake that they made, right? If I made the mistake, it was something that could be easily fixed. But usually it's a mistake that they made that I had to own. And then when I decided, like, hey, okay, let's just solve the problem. Then all of a sudden, they didn't want to solve the problem. And here's the thing, this is why it doesn't benefit them, right? Because people who are narcissistic, even though they will not admit it, they're mentally ill. They are the quote unquote lizard people that conspiracy theorists talk about. They are human embodiments of uncanny valley. And this is because they've dealt with trauma in their childhood, right? Either they were given too much or they were given too little, and they never had a chance to really interact with their environment, right? So they can learn how to be themselves. Either way, they are emotionally stunted, right? And so they are selective with people who they think will go ahead and deal with their shenanigans, right? Who will get upset with them, who will cry and beg and plead for them, who will engage in the antics, who will basically be good produce for the loose farm, right? The harvest. And they feed off of people who will get upset with them. It's almost a really sadistic look in their eyes when they see that they got you upset. But how it benefits them is that it helps them feel, right? It helps them feel. So what can you do about this? Simple. If you're not in a dangerous situation, you ignore them. If you work with them, you quit. I know that sounds kind of base, but people like this, they will consistently pick at you because they want a reaction out of you. If you're married to them, you might have to get a divorce, right? But if there's any way that you can deal with them, sparingly, do so and just ignore them. I feel that we don't ignore narcissism enough. We engage too much. We expect them to be human when they're really just adult children, adult stunted children. And so with the gentleman who got angry, when I cut him off, I expected him to try and find me, which he did on another social media platform because it wasn't over for him. But I blocked him too, right? In that area. You have to understand that these people are sick. Stop treating them like they are rational adults. They're not. They are sick children in adult bodies who take sinister pleasure of making you upset with them because they can't feel anything. So that's just my opinion. I just notice those two things. And even our political environment, no matter if you're liberal, conservative, or in between, you just have to look at the big picture. Who started the drama and do they want to resolve it? And then they'll tell you everything you need to know. See you later. Good night.